AKOSUA Frema Osei-Opare is a development consultant and a labour and employment expert with 40 years of experience in these fields. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Home Science from the University of Ghana and a Master's degree in Foods from the University of Guelph, Canada. She was a lecturer at the University of Ghana in Legon between 1976 and 1982, a consultant for the United Nations on its Women in Fisheries program in countries such as Congo, Ethiopia, Kenya, Namibia, and even Uganda. She served as Deputy Minister of Manpower, Youth and Employment from 2005 to 2008 in the second government of President John Agyekum Kufuor, and she is a two-term Member of Parliament for Ayawaso West Wogon, here in Accra. She is married and she has 4 children. And she is the current and the first and the only female Chief of Staff in the Office of the President. Thank you very much, Auntie Frema, for receiving us.
Yeah, thank you, Nanea.
So here we are in your wonderful office in Jubilee House, the centre of, I'm sure, a hive of activity, because your job is one that comes with huge responsibilities. Now, you seem to be very much in the news for all kinds of emergency situations. Would you describe your job as all firefighting, all troubleshooting?
Not at all. I think my job is very wide in terms of the scope. Basically, you are running the Office of the President. You are running people. You are looking at administrative issues. You are dealing with security issues. You are dealing with welfare issues and so on, political issues. So it's a very wide scope of responsibility. But I would say it's exciting because there's no dull moment. I don't see that I can come to office and not have something doing, or I get so fully engaged the whole day that really it's, I find that the diversity of responsibilities keep my spirits alive. And yeah, I think it's not all for firefighting.
But you say it's a very varied job. So is there anything such as an average day in the life of the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana?
I won't say there is an average day, but typically you get to the office. I try to arrange my time in such a way that I do have a block of time that I try to clear my table. All requests for travels, requests to dispose of vehicles, petitions that people have brought, and things that you have to minutes for others' attention. So I try to block the first half of the morning for that. And that means that you can get the day running, because I don't like to delay in the administrative work at all. And I also have to create space for meeting with people who want to have discussions with you. And the discussions are many. You may have people who have challenges, let's say ministers or CEOs in the workplace have some challenges, or they even have policy directions that they want to have somebody to listen to and to see whether they are on the right track, or if they have challenges, what suggestions you have to give to them. So we create space for that. You also create space for members of parliament. Because again, government, though we have the executive, you have the legislature, judiciary, the connection between the legislature and the executive is quite strong. And in the sense that you even have ministers who are both parliamentarians and part of the executive. So there's a strong linkage between what is going on in Parliament and what is going on here, and the kind of support that they require from you. So there's a time that I also, dedicate to meeting parliamentarians. At this early stage of Parliament's work, there isn't so much policy things going to Parliament. However, people are trying to settle down. You have new parliamentarians. They need the pat on the back. They need the confidence that the work that they're going to do, they are ready for it. They are always looking for some information on, how do I go about this or that? If I need something for my constituency, what is the process, and so on. So especially with the new ones, you have that. And I also have to make room for just party people. And
yes,
party people, they need it to have a feel of you, not just for my former constituency, but anybody. You are serving Ghana, so you are serving the party, and therefore everybody feels that if I need to see you, I should be able to. And we try and accommodate that as well.
The assumption is that the job of Chief of Staff is so heavy, is such a responsible position, that can very easily exclude the business of dealing with individual party people and the individual concerns that the vehicle, if you like, that has brought this government to power is able to respond to. So how do you make the time? How do you see that link between the party and the government and how it's working at the moment?
It's a very important issue that you have raised, because the people say you are here because of us. I mean, we campaigned, we voted for you, the government, and that's how come you are here. And therefore, and rightfully so, they need their attention. You need to balance. I mean, if you don't balance, you can spend the whole day, the whole week, months, all on party personal issues sometimes.
And you are Chief of Staff for the whole of the Republic of Ghana, after all.
Of the Office of the President. Not of the Republic, but of the Office of the President. But you are the Chief Administrator for the President, and therefore you need to take on a lot more, because you don't need to allow things to degenerate to the extent that they will have to go and see the Vice President or the President. So the way you manage things can actually relieve the top to focus on very important matters that require their full attention. But I don't work alone. I do have two deputies. There's a transition, but there's a deputy that supports my work, and administratively I can delegate a lot to them, particularly some of these logistical arrangements we have come in first. There are new people to be recruited. There are offices to be organized, and so on. And the ministries have been reorganized. So there are many things that require your attention. One of the deputies is spearheading that agenda. What I need is we sit together. What are the issues? This is a suggestion I have for you. Go and get it done and come and feed you with the developments, and then you you can support him. So I'm not working alone. And even the political side of it, I have a political office, the Directorate for Political Affairs. So they do a lot of meeting of individuals and groups that have issues that need the attention of the presidency. Or sometimes it's not for the attention of the presidency, but they feel they are not getting audience at the constituency level, at the regional level, national level. So let me take it here. They do a lot of support work there and give people directions. And, you know, I want to, I'm a graduate, I don't have a job. I want NABCO. You need to help them to see what the process is in getting signed off for NABCO. And they need to somehow, even though it's in the public domain, they need to hear from you so that they feel confident that if I go onto the portal and fill my forms and so on, it's really the process. So that political office is there, the Deputy Chief of Staff's office are there. And then here at this floor, I have a lot of support from program directors and administrators who then help me organize my day and organize work that needs to be done. Let's say for where we are now, there are people who have been assigned specific sectors. Some are involved in, say, education sector, lands and mineral resources. You have those health and so on, energy. I have people who are technically competent in those areas. Apart from that, they also have picked up some knowledge in that sector. Because we have those directors, what happens is that anything with education, I call the person in charge. This is what we have in the pipeline. These are the issues that is being raised. The scholarship secretariat needs attention for this and that and that. So, you know, you take it up and run with it. The energy sector, what are the issues coming up? Some of them are able to actually offer some backstopping in terms of technical knowledge, particularly in areas of energy and also in areas of lands and even supporting with the Galamsey, the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, and even people who are endowed with the experience of working on child labor issues in the cocoa sector. So that here you have to have a gamut of, I will say, knowledge, so that people cannot just push paper, but they can also help give some technical support. There are times that people actually want to draw some of my staff almost into their ministries because they find them so helpful and knowledgeable. Yeah. And I've had even people being put on government delegations for particular agencies because of the kind of knowledge that they have that can help them in the work that they are doing. So there's a group of program directors who are sector specific and can offer both technical and administrative support. But you also have a whole civil service structure. I have the chief director, I have my procurement officers, I have my finance team, I have my HR team. So they offer a lot of support for this office, because this is really a civil service institution.
Like, you have formidable skills not only of spotting talent in people, but also juggling people, juggling work commitments, being very willing to delegate, as you say, in areas that demand high levels of technical expertise and even political expertise, where it is not in your interest that sits on your desk. Would you say that that's very much a woman's way of working, or is it not particularly so?
Well, I think, let me be a bit biased. I think women have, because of the way we are nurtured, have these multi-skills. We can do economic work and balance it up with household work and childcare and managing people, managing things at the community level. This is, the Ghanaian woman is actually nurtured to play multiple roles in the society. And it's, for me, it's a plus. It's a big plus, because it allows you to balance technical knowledge with the people centered approach to things. Even you are working with people, sometimes you can sense that they are not themselves today. Do you just push the paper on them, or you sense that this person today doesn't look as bright and as cheerful, and ask questions and find that maybe they have a problem at home that you can counsel them on. Those are things that I think as women, and I would say Ghanaian women, we do bring on board this work. And I will say that I found myself as the first woman chief of staff, and
how did it feel?
People felt, we've never seen it before. So is this going to work out? And there are people, I can say, who actually doubted. But the point is that it's not whether you're a woman or a man. It's what skills you possess that can bring some positive impact in the work. I have found that this work requires a lot of administrative knowledge. You must, and if you are really to be successful, you have to understand proper administration. And I've had the opportunity of being an acting head of department at the University of Ghana. I've had managed organizations like SMV and Action Aid before. So I come with those skills. On the other side, you also, when you are working with the non-governmental organizations, just as SMV or Action Aid, you find yourself having to work both at the administrative level, but also working with people at the grassroots. And that's also impact on you a lot of people skills. So you know how to engage with people at the top, middle level, and at the grassroots. When I used to be in the NGO field, if you see me with my kaba and my craw tied and my headgear at the community level, you will recognize me. But that's what is there. So you must have some adaptive skills that you pick up. But of course, being a member of parliament, you get into that situation. And I found that when I was a member of parliament, it helped me also to be, that experience helped me to engage well with my constituents. But I'm benefiting from that now.
Yes. But what is it just about you that makes you Auntie Frema to all of us? So, we can only refer to you as Auntie Frema and not the Honourable Chief of Staff.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe people have to tell me what it is. But what I know is that people at low level, middle level, or high level, both even local and international people, do find comfort. They are comfortable working with me. And that's something that I will say is God-given skill, but also you acquire it through the kind of experience you have and your own values in life. Because I do value people, because I don't think you can do anything in the world and be very successful if you don't have strong values about people. Because I respect people. I believe that God created us with for a purpose, and that purpose, we should help you to bring out the best. So one thing that you may maybe behind the scenes find out is that I do push my team hard. I push them. But they all take it nicely. Yeah. And so far, nobody has taken an aluta against me. No. So I want to take it that they have accepted that I'm actually trying to mentor them and help them. I don't see why, if I can do two, I have to do one. And I feel that one is not to tell you that you should be at work and do diligent work if you don't do diligent work. I feel that I have a responsibility to do my work well so that it will encourage my staff. It will encourage even my security, whom I work with. I have a lot of engagements with them. The attitude to work is very important. You cannot take things lightly. When you are working, you must give your full concentration and actually believe that the work is of value. And so those values I do have, and I don't compromise on it. The people that I work with know it, and they feel and they say to me, I've learned a lot. Oh, Mommy, thank you. It's okay. We understand that, and I've seen improvement in people. I have even seen improvement in myself. Yeah, because you can also learn from the young ones. You can learn a lot from the young ones. And for me, if I see somebody has something good, talented, I will pick it. Because, you improve yourself. And job satisfaction is something that I have. I'm very happy in my job. It's strenuous, it's taxing, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours. But it's satisfying because you can see tangibly that you are making a contribution. So I'm quite happy in my job, and I actually feel that the people working with me have picked up some skills that people come here and they comment.
But now in your current role, you've talked about the satisfaction you get out of finding talent and releasing it, giving it the opportunity to shine, take on responsibility, and not feeling like you have to take it all to yourself.
Yeah.
But given that there are so many demands and pressures on your time now, are you able to do that level specifically of mentoring young women to the extent that perhaps you've done in the past?
I wish I could do more. I do try, but I feel it's not enough. I feel it's not enough because you get messages, people come and talk to you, you are my role model. I want you to take me as your daughter. I wish I had more time to bring people together and to share ideas. Because really, people do learn from, take inspiration from people who have advanced. They see that at your age, you are still active. Then there must be something that I can also learn from you. So I do spend some time in mentoring. I'm a patron of the energy group, the women of ECG, the Women Association. But I'm also invited to a number of functions, be it non-governmental or even governmental. I do accept. One time I had the honor to be the guest of honor for the 60th anniversary of the recruitment of women into the Ghana Armed Forces. Oh. It was a highlight of my life. I got to be review the parade and see women driving the big tanks, women on doing acrobatics on these trucks, women doing the drills, the marching drills and so on. But then you see that, it's very inspirational, because then I met the first women brigadier. It's good to engage, and I do try as much as possible to honor invitations like that, because through those interactions, you also inspire others and take inspiration to for yourself. There's an NGO called AKOSUA who honored me last year with the African Women's Award. But this is a group that I knew. They started, in a very small way. When I was a lecturer, I was an MP in Legon. They started in Legon. Young men and women have an idea of nurturing other women and bringing talents out. And today, AKOSUA is an established non-governmental organization. But I saw them from infancy before they even registered. So these are some of the exciting things that you go through by associating with people and organizations like that. Women need a lot of mentoring. I think, as I say, when I retire from politics, I'm going to spend also a lot of time on engagement with especially the young ones, because sometimes they feel they are not sure how you got to where you are. I always say that wherever you are put, if you are given a broom to sweep the kitchen, sweep and sweep well. Tomorrow you'll be given a longer brush to do the sitting room, and then you'll be going up and up. People should not look down on opportunities. Sometimes people feel they must be, you must start from the top. I have started from the bottom, and I believe very much that it has helped me climb to the top. I've been a pupil teacher. When I finished A-level at Aburi Girls, that was the time that there was a coup and the overthrow of President Nkrumah. So my former school, I finished A-level. I went to A-level in Aburi Girls, because then St. Monica's Secondary School, where I have schooled, did not have a science system. So that's when. But as soon as I finished my A-levels, my school contacted me and my friend, Kate, to come and be lecturers, teachers at the school, because after the coup, the Russian teachers who were doing science, were teaching science in the school, have left. So the two of us were roped in after A-levels to go and assist in teaching science, basic science, in the lower schools.
At the age of about 17, 18, presumably.
No, it was, yes. I was then, if it was 67, yes, almost 19. Wow. Yeah. So that was good. So, people teacher. Well, it was nice. Able to go back to your former school and now teaching students, taking them for library studies. One of my students was AC, now Dr. AC Sadadadi. Oh. She was then a student at St. Monica's. Wow. So that was a good experience. But even when I came to university, immediately I finished my degree, Mrs. Florence Sai took me as a research assistant to work with her on women in fisheries projects that she was engaged in as a research officer. She worked with the Institute of Statistical and Economic Research, ISA. So she needed a research assistant. She took me on. And I was very, very happy to be able to travel to Mori and Elmina, sit on fish trucks and follow women with a smoked fish all the way to Obuasi and to Bolga and everywhere. Generally, at that time, I don't know whether it's changed, the women operated at the post-harvest level. They sponsor even fishermen to go and fish, but they set the price at the when the fish is landed. And then they do the smoking or the drying, and then they do the marketing. So the whole fisheries sector, women play a very key role. Absolutely. To the extent that they can be the main sponsors of even fishermen to go out there and fish. Because some even depend on them to advance them money, so that when the fish come, they have a first stay on it. I mean, decision making on it. So it's the women's role in fisheries. It's a very interesting work. It's very important that whenever we are talking fisheries, we don't just focus on just the catch, because the processing and the distribution role that women play is very important.
You were born in Uyamuase, is that right?
No, in Kumasi.
You were born in Kumasi.
Ashanti Newtown.
Ashanti, to be precise. How did a young woman born in Ashanti Newtown end up working in fisheries research? Is it just more proof of your endlessly adaptive ability?
It's interesting. I mean, I sometimes I marvel at how my career has evolved. But I mean, I was born in Ashtown, and also to a fairly rich dad, both a businessman and a politician, well-known person. So we by those standards, it's like having a silver spoon in your mouth. But there's something I learned at home. My father, though very wealthy, instilled a lot of humility and hard work in us. My father was the mother of the house. I come from a polygamous family. There are many mothers, many of us children. It was my father who decides share the household chores.
Wow.
you are the one responsible for setting table. You are the one doing the stairs. You are the one doing this. We had a whole write-up as to what Frema does, what Nana Bema does, what Setu is doing, what Napoleon is doing. He managed everybody. But he expected us, in spite of being able to afford help, and we had house helps, but the children were made to have responsibilities, and you were accountable for those responsibilities.
Even before you went to boarding school?
That is before I went to boarding school. And you go to boarding school, all of us were St. Monica's convent. That's where the women were sent. So in boarding school, to those days, you are given responsibility. You know what Form 1 you are supposed to do. You know what you are supposed to do in Form 2 and so on. Everybody is assigned. And in St. Monica's those days, you don't have running water. You have water harvesting systems that I wish we still practice here in large tanks. But then you go to a stream on Monday afternoon to go and do your washing and come back with it, tuck your washing in a pillowcase and then put it like a baby at your back. And then you carry your bucket of water from the stream. But we did it. And everybody did it before we went to secondary school. So the whole training those days in boarding school really trained you. So it's not about, I come from a rich family and so on, but you have training. And those skills of responsibility, having a role to play in the classroom, having a role to play in the dormitory, having a role to play in the whole community, made you, a more responsible, I would say, citizen and an adaptive person in general. So for me, I think that I never thought I would end up in the fisheries. I got roped in because my lecturer, Mrs. Florence, roped me into fisheries. I ended up going to Nigeria to do a similar work for the FAO, United Nations program, for 3 years. I was sitting in outboard motors where my hand can touch the water, or you have a lot of weeds that can get into the propeller of your outboard motors, and they have to stop and then remove it. And you are, it's so scary. And I can't swim. That's one thing. Oh. I remember when my husband and children came to visit me in Nigeria, and they put them on a boat just to give them a boat ride. They couldn't go far. They ran back. Said, please bring us back. My husband asked me, how are you able to do this? I said, well, that's my job. My job means I have to go to riverine areas, communities. And that's the only way you go, is to sit in these boats and go. And I did. So it's an adventure. But somehow I feel that if you train your child, you counsel your child, and practically people should learn to adapt to situations. You don't always have to have a proper mattress before you sleep. Things like that. It's helpful. It's helpful, and it toughens you, and you are able to deal with life pressures, because there are people who can't take even a little discomfort. And, today they don't have a job. They think the best way is to go to somebody to ask for it. No. In our time, there's dignity in labor. If I don't have a formal job, I can use my hand and do something. And I even as a student, I used to make condensed milk toffee in on my coal pot in the kitchen, and sell it to the people in the house, and made a lot of money for my. But I mean, you should be able to use your skills widely, and not to be, focus yourself in one corner as if the world is made up of just one job that you need to do, and beyond that you cannot do anything. No, I've always told people, for nothing at all, if I'm today, I'm unemployed, I will do planting for food and jobs. And why not? There is no community in Ghana, everybody comes from a village somewhere, that cannot get some land, small land. You have all these greenhouses thing being done. You can do modern agriculture. And it doesn't need even too much money, and you can be assisted. There is so much opportunity. I want to encourage the youth as well, both men and women, that let's see opportunities rather than see, problems that there's no job. I think there are a lot of jobs because I can be self-employed. I can do something with my hands and I can earn something. And through that process, it may blossom into an industry. If you look at the life of the late Mrs. Oklu, she started making marmalade in the kitchen. And Okulenu industry still exists. Today you have palm fruits canned, pineapple canned, garden eggs canned, but she started in the kitchen. So please, I will say that let's see opportunities, and there are many opportunities for the youth. I really like to encourage people not to be straitjackets and just see myself as chief executive officer of so and so and so. Yeah, it's fine if it comes to you, but you can also do something to help yourself and be a chief executive officer of your own enterprise.
Why did you not decide to retire? Other women would have done.
I was happy that His Excellency asked me to stay on. I must say that I was very excited. I still have the energy. I still believe that even the second term will be better. It's complementary to the work that I do. And I am all energized to do more. I think that people should not retire when they shouldn't retire. If you have something to offer society, you should offer society. And even after this work, I don't see myself retiring into some corner somewhere. I will move as long as God gives me strength and breath. Because I started by saying that God brings us into the world for a purpose. And that I believe. And that purpose is fulfilled by your actions. And therefore, what you can offer at any time, you should not deny yourself and say, I'm going on a cruise or some holiday somewhere. Because when your duty calls, I think you should obey. And I'm happy that I'm given this opportunity. And I'm more than happy to offer the talents, energy, the skills that God has given me, and also to learn from my president. You talk about energy. The point is that you can't work with Mr. President if you lack energy. because he's full of energy and he does not know the morning or afternoon or night, doesn't know weekend, doesn't know public holidays. You see what is going to happen on the 6th of March. So so if you are a lazy person or you measure your time, forget it. Yeah, then you are not working with him. But I'm inspired by him because, you know, that's the point, is that you need leaders who are motivated to serve their nation. People who have a vision for their country and willing to invest all their resources, time, energy, whatever they have into it. And that's the inspiration I have. And that's the inspiration this office, I mean, civil servants who have been here before have told me, we didn't know the presidency can be so vibrant, that there was so much work. That is a confession that people have told me, right? Not too long after we started. The president is a leader of practice. He sets the example. If something can be done today, he doesn't see why you should do it tomorrow. And if we can do more, why are we doing less? So for me, that inspiration that I get from my president, the vice president, I am more than excited to continue with this work and to do more, even beyond this work.
From your lofty position in one of the highest estates in the land, what advice do you have for young women looking to take on positions of leadership in tomorrow's Ghana?
The advice I would like to give is for people to understand, the young women, to understand that to be a leader, you must be able to serve. You must be willing to serve. And that's an area that I think is lacking in many of our youth. You have to give to the community. You have to understand people. And you understand people because you are with them. It's because you are doing things with them. And once you do that, that's my, I like the MPP manifesto, that's a leadership in service. You have to know that you are actually there to serve people. And therefore, you must have learned how to serve. It's not when you're a leader before you learn to serve. I think people who are good leaders have, if you look deeply into their life, they have been willing to do things that they never thought would make them leaders. They were willing to share ideas. They were willing to do volunteer work. Some were serving as secretaries to committees and so on, not counting anything, not looking for money. Nobody paid them, but they were willing to do the errands. They were willing to support others who were the leaders then. And you pick up a lot through that process. I'd like people to look at the life of our leaders and to see how they reach where they are. A lot of times people come, they're looking for the top position. They are not looking for what can I do to assist. So the message for our young people is that be willing to give, be willing to serve, volunteer, accept responsibilities that you may consider low, and give off your best. And through that you will learn and you will climb gradually. And when you climb also, you know that you are fit for the job. Because I am glad that I've gone through the mill to reach this job. Because if I see the kind of varied responsibility that this job entails, I'm glad I went through all that, because I can call on it. I have experienced something yesterday that is helping me today, and it will help me tomorrow. So I encourage every young person to offer service. Because service to your family, service to your community, service to your school, service to your workplace, you will find that it is a good foundation to be a good leader when the opportunity comes. Thank you.
Just quick last questions. Do you think you will ever live to see a female president of Ghana?
I hope so. I hope so. I don't know how much life God is going to give me, but I hope so. I hope so. And I think it is a possibility.
You can see potential there in
lots of potential. Lots of potential.
And you've spoken about, if you like, the pressures of time and responsibility that come with being chief of staff. What are some of the crunch points in your responsibilities? I know you've been very much engaged lately with some very edge-of-the-knife issues, matters of pressing state security, let's put it that way. Do you rise to the challenge with joy, or do you feel the fear set in and then feel the courage come and be able to respond?
Let's say that one is not looking for problems, but when it comes, you have to face it. And maybe of late you heard the strike action of the Ghana Airports company. Last year, there was the aviation issues that also led to a temporary strike of those in the navigation sector. And earlier on in government, the big news about the University of Ghana Medical Center that was so explosive. But the point that I say is that you can't run a country and nothing happens, nothing goes wrong. You don't look for problems, but when they come, I think you should confront the problem. So for me, I don't wait for problems to explode. My approach is that sit at the table and talk. And that's how come for the University of Ghana Medical School, which was a big issue, problem with even at the university level, ownership between the former governance structure and the current governance structure. You had a problem between the university and the Ministry of Health. You have a problem between Ministry of Health, University, and Ministry of Education. And it became, a big public issue, people being interviewed here and there. And frankly, I felt, what is this? We all have a vision to have good health center and properly run. So why should we fight? Fortunately, given the position that I hold, I can bring people around the table. And we brought people around the table. The university, the Ministry of Education. We also brought Ministry of Health and related agencies. And gradually, It took me 1 year though to finally, to reach this level, but it was a year of incremental progress, sorting out the ownership issue. Because that even is not just the investing, but also the unions were part of that agenda. So we worked together. We looked at the technical aspects, how was the status of the university hospital, how can we make it work now while we look forward to the second phase, and so on. And then interim management, what kind of HR structure we should have, and so on. It took us a year of incremental progress. And I'm happy to say that today, when they say, oh, people at UGMC, it's like nothing has happened before. And that's my joy. Because if you are diligent about things, and you really bring people to the table, and be objective, and let people speak their mind, and build consensus, because eventually when you see that people do have the same vision, they want a center that is well running and for the benefit of the people of Ghana. So that's our starting point. How can each faction contribute to making the realization of this? And that's how we've done it. And so we are hopeful that other issues that come up like this, we are sitting around the table, and eventually it will be resolved to the satisfaction of everyone. But it's a major aspect of my work, is to make sure that there's peace and tranquility in both the labor front and at the agencies and ministries level, that people are working together, people are talking to each other, and making sure that people feel, their value, and they are given the right kind of support to move forward. So that coordinating function, that dispute resolution function is a very important aspect of my job. And I take it seriously, because you need to have sober analysis of things, sober resolution of things, so that we can in the end benefit. Because really that's all we want to do, is to have everybody be a winner in terms of the vision that the country has for its citizens.
Thank you so much, AKOSUA Frema Osei-Opare.
Thank you, Nanaya. I didn't realize we were going to spend so long, but it's been a joy talking to you. It's also been exciting recollecting some of the experiences of the past, and also the general encouragement that you've been given. So we'll forge ahead.
We very much
thank you.
So
I wish every woman a happy Women's Day.
Thank you very much for joining us for Sunday night for International Women's Day. We have been in the company of AKOSUA Frema Osei-Opare, the Chief of Staff in the Office of the President. Thank you very much for joining us on Sunday night. And if for any reason you have only just heard the closing section of that jam-packed talk with AKOSUA Frema Osei-Opare, you can always watch us on playback on our Facebook page, Asaase Radio 99.5, or you can watch us indeed on YouTube for excerpts of this momentous interview that we've had with the Chief of Staff. And you can also watch the repeat of Sunday night on Asaase 99.5. Continue to join us throughout the month of March for further profiles and interviews with women in high stations of leadership in Ghana, and women doing all sorts of things that bring about change in their communities across the length and breadth of this country that we call Ghana. Sunday night has been brought to you through the able work of our producer, Abidia Nim, his assistant, Dennis Asante, and assistants from Bernard Marfo and from Al Hassan. Thank you very much for joining us again on Sunday night. I have been your presenter, Nanaya Mensah. Join us again for further life insights into the lives of women in this country.